Hey there. We're another week of the SDR. I have an SDR's journal. If you're new to this, basically what I do is every week I break down three learnings from the week before that I've taken over as an SDR, or I've kind of learned over the last week. So this has been an interesting week. I'd say the first learning, let's get right into it, has been differentiating your messaging for above the line and below the line buyers. So below the line buyers are those that are directly involved in the specific process that you're trying to solve or the pain point that you're trying to solve. While above the line buyers are the ones that are the decision makers, but they may not be like in the weeds specifically as such with the response and with the pain points. So uh, as a result, like below the line buyers, they're caring more about their day to day as such, but your above the line buyers are for them it's more important about the business impact. And that was something that I felt like, I mean, I always kind of knew about it at the back of my mind, but I needed this reminder as such. And at times, like, with stuff like when you have outreach or sales loft, it's pretty easy to just like, find 10 people in like a company and then just like sequence all of them and send them the same messaging. But for your accounts that are your tier one accounts or even your tier two accounts, like being able to like tailor your messaging to that actual persona as such, especially if it's the same, it's someone on the same team, but one is above the line and the one is below the line, can actually have a massive impact. So, for example, at Loopio, we sell RFP response process. We sell an RFP response tool. So, a VP of sales, as an example, the act of an RFP response process being bad by itself or being challenging is not actually that much of a concern, but the actual impact of an RFP response process being bad, that's what a VP of sales as such cares about. So, for example, stalling deal cycles or rep efficiency as a whole. So just sort of thinking about the business impact of what you're actually like what your product does is something to kind of think about when you're tailoring messaging. So that'd be the first one. The second thing is, and this is something that I think it's even more important with the recession, as some industries kind of, you know, aren't going to come, aren't as going to be buying as much as others, but kind of noticing some of the trends on your inbound team. So your inbound, so for example, like I'm on the outbound team, but if you're noticing certain trends and what kind of leads are coming in inbound, that gives you a good idea of, I guess, what are the reasons why this specific industry might be coming in more inbound, let's say from the second part of the year. For example, the specific industries like, I don't know, universities or food services companies that have busier times of the year, which means that if you're selling those specific industries, they may come in inbound at particular times of the year. So just kind of looking at your discussing with your inbound team, looking at what demo requests are coming in, that gives you a really good idea of like what industries are actually or what type of personas are actually in the market right now. And then also like when you look at those personas that are coming in inbound for a demo request, like go in and see what specifically, like, did anything happen internally for that to happen, for them to come in inbound? Even watch Gong recordings as a whole. That'll give you an idea. Maybe they like raised funding, or that individual was new at the company and they want to get tools in place. So that gives you an idea of an outbound, like what type of companies do you want to reach out to? The last thing, this is more of a, I guess a mindset part. On Friday, it was that Friday afternoon, I think about like 3 p.m., and I had some calls to make, and I kind of went through that process of like the call anxiety as such, and was pretty disappointed in myself because I didn't make as many calls as I wanted to on that Friday. And I was listening to like a podcast. It's called the Modern Wisdom podcast. It's run by Chris Williamson, and he had someone on to speak about confidence. And one quote that really stuck out with me was anxiety is predicting failure, confidence is predicting success. So that cold call anxiety stems from you thinking about the future, and thinking about how you're going to be failing before you even dial as a whole. So for example, when I'm calling up a VP of sales of a 3,000 person company, I'm already imagining scenarios of how this person is going to basically shut me down, and put me in my place and just tell me how horrible of rep I am. But it's those scenarios that your mind is predicting ahead of actually you making the call. So you never end up actually making the call. Um, so confidence comes from predicting success and knowing that, just kind of flipping it over from like, hey, like this VP of sales could rip me apart, or this specific cold call could be the difference maker and lead to like a massive deal for our company. So kind of switching it from predicting failure to predicting success. I think that's something that I've kind of I thought was really interesting that like sort of listen to over the weekend and kind of try out this week to see how it works. Um, but yeah, so those are the three key learnings. And yeah, hopefully those were enjoyable. Thanks.